Welcome back to Animal Crossing New Horizons. I'm Dear Darling, and should we see what's going on our lovely island of Fawnhallow today, where we're going to lock in everyone. Today's a big recording day. Lots of Animal Crossing to be recording. I don't know if I'm going to record, basically I need to record, let's see, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, 6 days. I don't know if I'm going to do all 6 days today. Probably I'll do 3 days today, 3 days tomorrow, or 4 days today, 2 days tomorrow, maybe, because I'll probably be streaming tomorrow. But yeah, we've got a lot of recording to be doing. And we have a little bit of other videos recording to be doing too. I'm just trying to think like how much we have to be doing. Because I got 9 souls for today, which I've not named, so I need to remember to do that. I've got 9 souls next week, Wednesday, which is fine. So I need to record Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Monday, Tuesday, 5 days. Okay, so it's basically a week early. Hello everyone, right now in Fawnhallow it's 2:43 PM on Saturday, October 18th, 2025. I've just realised a very potential worrying thing is because that's 4 days of 1,000 times resist. I wonder if that is going to be the end of 1,000 times resist, like we're going to finish. Oh, to be fair, it's only 3 episodes. I don't think it's going to finish in 3 episodes, but maybe it will, maybe it won't. But we are getting close to the end, so I've got to think about what's coming up to replace it. Patrick's Power Box, I think, probably has at least like 8 more episodes in it, which is okay. And I'm pretty sure I know what I want to be replacing it. I'm not sure if... I'm still sort of undecided if that's the one I'm going to choose, because I think it's got similar soccer band-esque elements. What my initial choice is initially going to be what was going to take Patrick's Power Box place, but then I don't know why I changed it in the end. I don't remember. So something about it, I was just like, oh, you know, I feel like maybe I should play Patrick's Power Box instead. But we'll see how it goes. Otherwise, what are we going to talk about today? How my catch game's going? Uma Musume, Summer Maru. I've still only got about 1 great run with Summer Maru. My other runs are pretty good, but it's just like not good enough. Like they're always missing one piece. Like I did my 3 daily runs today. One of them, I missed another trigger for groundwork. No, I've only got medium S, I think, in 2 runs, which is surprising, all things considered. But it's gotten to a point where I'm like, maybe I need to like retrain my grandparent, like my parents in Sky, but I'm just like, I can't really do that because that will take up the guest slots. I might as well just continue training up with Sarah Marozensky and hoping I just get a good lucky run. But I'm like, am I going to have enough time to train up my own Top Gun? I've literally got 12 days, that's 36 runs, maybe? Look, what I just need a decent run, you know. Either medium S or maxed out stats without medium S, you know. Groundwork proc, decent skills. I have an okay-ish one at the moment, like it would be passable. I think it would probably get me to A finals, but I don't think I would win. And it would be by the skin of my teeth. But I'm like, I also need to do my own Top Gun. You know, I need to train up with grandparents of that as well. Taiki Shuttle, not giving me a good grandparent. But these are the sort of troubles, you know, you run into. Wow. Playing Uma Musume. It'd just be really nice if we didn't have as much of a limit on guest daily borrows or something. Really kind of sucks. Anyway, not point. What are we going to talk about though? I'm trying to think what has been on my mind. What's been on my mind? Oh, you know what I can talk about? So basically I went to an immersive game room experience thing, which is, you know, very sort of like popped up around London here and there. There's a few different places. This one wasn't a VR one, but this one basically was like you're in a room and the walls are all touch screens, and you're wearing like a motion detector and tracking thing on your head, and that's what you do to actually like interact with the environment. So I'd say you basically play games based on the position or where you're standing. I don't know how best to describe it. It really gave me like Xbox Connect sort of vibes. Even the games were so like Connect coded, I think. Like when it first came out or whatever. It was just a sort of game where you just walk in and, you know, where you are relative to the room determines like where how you interact with the game or whatever. Anyway, but the one that we did, we did two of them, both based off game shows, one fictional and one real, although technically both of them I guess are real now I think about it. But one was based off Squid Game, the hit Korean TV show, which got season 3 back in May? I don't remember. No, I don't think it was that long ago. I think it was August, wasn't it? Anyway, not point. Anyway, I don't know if I've actually said my piece about Squid Game. Have I ever spoken about Squid Game? I probably haven't, probably because it's quite like a violent... Oh no, I have spoken about Squid Game the first time. But yeah, I liked Squid Game Season 2. And I liked most of Squid Game Season 3. I like a lot of it. And I never thought... I never... Okay, but the TLDR, I don't know, you had to go back to when it was released to find out my opinions on it, essentially, but the TLDR is, spoilers for Squid Game Season 3, the teaser for the sequel, quote, quote, I didn't know about the announcement beforehand, so I was just like, oh, this is just meant to be revealed, but it's happening everywhere. And I'm like, that's kind of like a terrifying thought, but then, you know, it does sort of disenchant it a bit after learning that it's like, oh, it's basically just because they want to continue the series. I thought it was a definitive, like, hopeless looking open end or something. And I fully, you know, am on board with it being like a very sort of hopeless feeling show where it just feels, ugh. But the good guys don't win. Good guys, quote, quote, in air brackets, I suppose. Air quotation marks. But anyway, not the point. Although I do agree that the detective subplot was entirely pointless. Anyway, we did a Squid Game experience. I mean, the other one we also did was The Floor is Lava, which apparently is a game show, which I had no idea was a thing. And you know what? Now I'm talking about it, I'm going to go look it up. The Floor is Lava. That's probably a whole conversation in itself another time. Game show. It looks like a Ninja Warrior, essentially. I'm looking at, I think it's Ninja Warrior. But it's a game show? Is it meant to be for like, not necessarily those who are like parkour masters, like, or climbers? Maybe, I don't know, to be honest. They look pretty athletic of people doing it. Yeah, so we did that. And it was a pretty fun time, to be honest. Is it, like me as a hashtag gamer, does it have that much depth in the way of gameplay mechanics? No, but all of the games basically involve the same thing, which is just move about in the space. They have slight variations where some of it's like do it as fast as possible. Some of it's like do it as accurate as possible, and one is like do it with right timing. But yeah, we play the Squid Game games. Some of them were like red light, green light. I was like, this is gonna be pretty fun. But then I was also like, how does this work? Because the room is so tiny. I don't think you can take a fossil. Or maybe you can, I don't know. Let's try setting it. But what it was basically was you just had to sort of navigate around the screen. And you just had to stop moving when the doll was turned around. Which is fine, I think it was a good introduction. The second game we played, there were some games which weren't games that actually existed. The Dalgona game I actually think was the best one of it, because it was one that basically required precision and speed. You had like a set amount of time and there was like a shape which you basically had to cut out by like walking around, tracing that shape out, I suppose, with your body. So, you know, you start off with like a triangle, then I think it became a square, then it was like a pentagon, then circle, then love heart, star, then love heart, or one way around or another, and then the final one was umbrella. We actually did make it to the umbrella. Oh, the thing that I think sucks most about it is most of the games you could only play like one at a time or two at a time. Like there's none of them which was like, oh, let's get everyone in here at the same time or something. That would have been lit, I think. You know, imagine playing red light, green light with all 6 people just trying to sort of like move around. Unfortunately, that was not the case. Which is fine, you know, at the end of the day, so be it. I trying to think what else. Oh, excuse me. But yeah, the Dalgona one was pretty good. We made it to the umbrella, but like we only had like 20 seconds left in the round. So I was basically, you know, it was my turn with the umbrella. I would say I got halfway, by just basically sort of like not sprinting at it. If I had like maybe 30 seconds more, I think I could have done it, to be honest. But yeah, that one was quite a fun one. Whereas tug of war is, I would say, not that interesting, and I don't even know how you could lose it, to be honest. But it was basically you had to walk to a spot, but you had to walk to a spot with right timing. So it was basically a rhythm game, but it was maybe one of those awkward. It was basically playing OC with your entire body, and it was very, very awkward, I think. Nor particularly that engaging and challenging. That's just my criticisms of it, I'm sorry to say. What was the game after that? Oh, Marbles. Okay, I think Marbles was actually the worst one. Because it didn't even, like, that one at least you're using the gimmick of the room. This one, Marbles, was like, this was like, you tap the marble, and then you move about to try and aim it, and then you tap again to fire it, and it just was like, okay. It didn't really, wasn't that interesting, I think, in terms of being able to, like, really utilize the mechanics, the unique part of what you were doing to its full extent. For Glass Bridge, I think in concept is kind of okayish. It was basically a quiz, like a mini quiz thing, where basically you were shown like the VIP masks, and then like there's a group on the left side, there's a group on the right side, and then you'll ask a question, like which side had like the tiger, which side had the owl, and then they up the questions and be like which one had more tigers, which one had fewer owls, and then they up it and be like which one had the mammal, which one had more cats, which one had fewer birds, or something like that. And you had to basically answer the questions like left or right side of the room. And they don't give you a lot of time, so you are meant to do it collaboratively, like one person looks at one side, one person looks at the other side. 2BH. And it was fine otherwise, I think. Like, I mean, I will say it was probably only a limited amount of games you can really do with this sort of thing and make it easily accessible to everyone. And I guess you can't actually make the actual Squid Games. Like, I suppose in some sort of macabre, cynical way. Would I like to try some of the Squid Game games? Yes. Would I want to do it with a threat of death online? No, absolutely not. And the final one was actually like the actual Squid Game. I actually think this was genuinely the most fun one, weirdly enough. Because it actually made you do the actual Squid Game game. If you don't know what the Squid Game actual game is, it's a thing where like the rules of it are you start at like the top circle on the outside, and then you have to hop around on one foot, and then you cross the bridge along the middle, like between the triangle and square part of the squid. And if you do that, then you can run on both feet, and then you have to like run up the inside and to the tip of the shape on the inside. And there were like NPC sort of like things which basically chase you if they saw you to try and stop you, blockers. But it genuinely was a lot of fun, I think, that one. And the part I would say about it that I found quite amusing though is like sometimes you would walk through the bridge and like the NPCs sometimes get glitch out, like when they're clearly not meant to see you through the boundary, but then they start following you anyway, or they can spawn camp you if you die, and then like the next person tags in. So yeah, I mean, it was, all in all, I think it was a quite amusing, fun experience. Definitely silly and novel. Like I wouldn't play it be like, wow, this is like a really in-depth game. You play it because like you go like, oh, this is an interesting mechanic is a wrong word, but like it's an interesting sort of unique experience. Now saying this, I know in London there is like a full-on actual Squid Game experience thing. What I think I don't really know necessarily how much of the games you actually play, like if you actually do all the games, but in some ways definitely a little bit very dystopian, isn't it? To play, seeing as it's all like it's a big criticism, I suppose, on capitalism and, you know, exploiting for entertainment in that sort of way. But you know, I can't say that I don't also fall into the trap being like, yeah, I understand what the show is doing, and I understand by partaking in that is going against kind of like what the show is criticizing in the first place. I can't disagree though that it doesn't look like fun when your life is not on the line, you know. does that make sense? So yeah, this was like a different experience. This was like an immersive room experience. Which, yeah, I think there's probably a few in London. I don't actually know. Oh, I just opened up my page info. But yeah, that was, I'm trying to think of. Oh, there's so many in the UK. I'm trying to think what even else happened in the Squid Game one. Yeah, and then it got to the end, and then you get like your money, and then you're meant to like, I don't know, you're meant to like save as many lives as possible or something. They give you like a breakdown of the scores at the end. Something like that. And then I'm trying to think what else happened. And then you take like a fun little video at the end and then it like posts it around the venue. So yeah, we did that. I think it was pretty cool, to be honest. Like, is it something which, you know, I would do on the weekend? No. All the time. Of course not. But is it something which I found quite amusing? Yeah, I thought it was fun. I thought it was a good time. And then afterwards, there was another thing we could play. Like, there were different ones. There was like a Batman Arkham Asylum one, which we didn't do. We did the, as we said, we did the, I can't remember what it's called now. I've forgotten. We did the Floor's Lava one. That's right. And that one gave me such Connect game energy. And that one actually, you know, despite the fact that it's quite one note, like I think it used the space well. Basically, you move where you moved on your screen, sort of determined whereabouts your character would move to. Except for it was always two people running at once. So like it starts out simple enough, and you actually have to jump around the room and stuff. But eventually, your paths actually like cross. You end up walking into each other, but you have to like keep your eyes on the screen so you don't fall in the lava. That one was like silly fun, I would say. Was it buggy? Was it a bit glitchy? Yeah, absolutely. Like, you didn't actually really need to jump a lot of the time. You could just walk off and it would jump for you, because it's just, I don't know if it's actually checking if you're jumping or not. But yeah. If anything, I think the hats you had to wear for this motion tracking are quite amusing, because if you haven't seen like motion tracking suits, they basically look like they're covered in ping pong balls. But you basically have one of those things on top of your head. It's just like, it's like a golf visor, or like a bookie visor. I don't actually know what those are called. Let's see. Bookie visor, a green cap, green eye shade, a dealer's visor, yeah. You basically have one of those on, and then it has like this sort of tree of ping pong balls above your head. And that sort of like tracks your space somehow. Yeah. I think it was a very fun, unique experience. So, I mean, if you're around, you know, why not give it a shot? Try some of the other games and that sort of thing. Because I feel like there's a lot of potential you could do with an entire room where the entire thing's a controller. But at the same time, these places are businesses, so they're not going to do anything insanely complicated. You know, they're going to appeal to the general audience, because that's the general audience of what they want. But I'm just like, what if you had like a really intense competitive game which actually required you to like run around, jump around the room or something? Like a game where you had to sort of like press a buzzer in like 3 seconds, or, you know, you fail or something, but the buzzer can appear like anywhere around the room. And then there's obstacles that you had to sort of keep track of at the same time. Sort of dodging around. Probably exists, but maybe not in these rooms. Doesn't have that broad, accessible appeal, maybe. Anyway, there you go. It's an immersive room. Immersive gaming experience, apparently, as it's called. And yeah, I don't know. I thought it was quite fun. City fun time. Anyway, I'm going to wrap this episode off here. So if you have been watching, thank you very much. It's been Animal Crossing New Horizons. I've been Dear Darling. Likes, comments, subscription, shares, greatly appreciated. Socials, Discord down below. Hope to see each other again. But for now, it's our farewell. So until next time. Bye-bye for now.